Have you ever stood on the edge of something new, feeling both hope and fear? That's where Joshua stood, between the wilderness behind him and the promised land ahead. And maybe that's where you are too. When God said, "Be strong and courageous," he wasn't ignoring Joshua's fear. He was speaking into it, reminding him that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to trust God anyway. Sometimes we wait for our fear to disappear before we move, but God says, "Move, and I will go with you." He doesn't promise an easy path. He promises his presence on the path. Maybe your life feels uncertain right now. The road ahead seems unfamiliar, but listen, the same God who parted the Jordan for Joshua can make a way for you. He's not asking you to be fearless. He's asking you to be faithful. So take the first step. Whisper, "Lord, I choose to trust you even when I don't see the way." Carry this truth with you today. Courage begins where trust begins, because where God calls you, he also walks beside you. Have you ever started the day already feeling tired inside? When you wake up, but your heart feels heavy. When you know what needs to be done, but your strength feels small. That's the moment when God's words in Joshua 1:9 come alive. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. He didn't say, "Be strong because you have it all together." He said, "Be strong because I am with you." Real strength isn't about muscles or confidence. It's about presence. It's about knowing that you're not walking alone. Sometimes the world tells you to push harder, but God whispers, "Rest in me first." Courage is not the absence of weakness. It's faith in motion. You may not feel strong, but his spirit within you is. And when you feel like you can't keep going, he carries you. So before you move into this day, pause and breathe. Say quietly, "Lord, I receive your strength for today." Let his peace replace your pressure. Let his presence become your power. Carry this truth with you today. Strength begins where surrender begins. Have you ever felt fear return after you thought you had already overcome it? You pray, you trust, you feel peace, but then the silence grows loud again, and the enemy whispers, "What if God doesn't come through this time?" That's when you must remember, God never changes his promises because of our feelings. His word to Joshua still stands for you. "I will never leave you nor forsake you." The same voice that led Joshua into the unknown leads you through yours. Fear doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it just needs to be faced with faith. Faith doesn't shout, it stands. Faith doesn't argue, it trusts. Faith doesn't always see the way, it walks anyway. You may not know what tomorrow looks like, but you know who holds it. And when your heart starts to tremble, speak his name, Jesus. There is no fear strong enough to silence the one who speaks peace. You are covered, seen, and surrounded. So when fear whispers again, let your soul answer back, "My God is with me, my heart will not be moved." Carry this truth with you today. Peace returns every time you remember who walks beside you. Have you ever stood at the edge of something new, not knowing what waits ahead? It's that moment between comfort and calling, where faith must take the first step. Joshua stood there too, looking at a land he had never walked, yet holding a promise that had never failed. Sometimes God doesn't show us the full map, only the next step. He hides tomorrow so that we'll hold his hand today. He asks us to move, not because the path is clear, but because his presence is sure. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to trust the one who does. Faith isn't knowing where you're going, it's knowing who goes with you. Maybe today you're facing a decision, a change, a door you've been afraid to open. Don't let fear write your story. Let obedience be your courage. For every step taken in faith, God steps closer in power. Whisper it as a prayer. "Lord, I may not know what comes next, but I know you are already there." Carry this truth with you today. When the path is uncertain, his promise is unshaken. Have you ever wondered why God would choose you? You look at your flaws, your limits, your past, and think, how could God use someone like me? Joshua wasn't a perfect man. He didn't feel ready to lead nations or face giants, but God never waits for perfection. He looks for willingness. He said, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous." It wasn't a suggestion. It was a calling. Sometimes we think courage means feeling confident, but real courage is obedience in the middle of doubt. It's saying yes while your knees still shake. It's stepping forward when you don't feel qualified, because grace qualifies you. You may feel small, but the one inside you is mighty. You may feel unseen, but heaven knows your name. God doesn't need your strength. He wants your surrender. If you give him your heart, he'll give you his purpose. So whisper this as your declaration: Lord, I may be small, but I am willing. Use my life for your glory. Carry this truth with you today. God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. Have you ever believed with all your heart one day and questioned everything the next? Faith and doubt often walk the same road, but only one gets to lead. And God is patient even with your questions. He doesn't leave when your faith shakes. He strengthens it. When Joshua looked at the giants before him, he could have turned back, but he remembered who had promised the land. Faith doesn't ignore reality. It invites God into it. You may see obstacles, but he sees opportunities. You may see walls, but he sees Jericho falling. Doubt says, "What if I fail?" Faith answers, "What if God moves?" Doubt fears the unknown. Faith builds on the unseen. Every battle in your mind becomes smaller when you remember who stands with you. So when doubt rises today, don't fight it alone. Speak truth louder than your fear. Say, "God, even when I waver, you remain steady." He never measures your worth by your weakness, but by his love. Carry this truth with you today. Faith isn't about never doubting. It's about never letting doubt win. Have you ever stood at a crossroads, unsure which way to go? You've prayed, you've waited, but the silence feels like an answer you can't understand. In moments like this, remember, God's silence is not his absence. Sometimes he leads by stillness, teaching you to trust, not rush. The Lord told Joshua, "Do not turn from my word to the right or to the left, so that you may prosper wherever you go." Direction begins with devotion. Before you look for the next step, look to the one who orders them. His guidance rarely comes through noise. It comes through peace. When your mind races, slow down. When choices pull at your heart, let Scripture steady your spirit. God will never confuse you. Confusion is not his language. Peace is. The more you rest in his word, the clearer the path becomes. Lord, I don't need to see everything, just enough light to take the next step. He will show you one moment at a time. Carry this truth with you today. When you walk with God, every step becomes the right one. Have you ever faced something that felt impossible to overcome? A problem too heavy, a mountain too high, a battle that made you feel small. Joshua faced walls that reached the sky, yet God only asked him to march and trust. The victory didn't come from Joshua's strength, but from his obedience. He didn't need the plan, he needed the presence. Because when God is in the battle, even silence becomes a weapon of faith. Sometimes your greatest act of courage is to keep walking, even when nothing seems to move. Maybe today your Jericho isn't made of stone. It's fear, sickness, worry, or loss. You've prayed, but the walls are still standing. Listen, the same God who made them fall for Joshua is still faithful today. Keep marching in faith. Keep believing when your eyes can't yet see the breakthrough. Whisper this as a declaration: Lord, the battle is yours. I will keep walking in faith until victory comes. Carry this truth with you today. The walls fall not by might, but by obedience. Have you ever asked God for peace, but the storm didn't stop? Sometimes he calms the sea, other times he calms the sailor. And maybe today, that's what he's doing in you. Joshua learned that true peace doesn't come from victory alone. It comes from presence. Even before the battles ended, God said, "I am with you." Peace is not the absence of problems. It's the awareness of God in the middle of them. It's the quiet knowing that no matter what shakes around you, He remains unshaken within you. You may not be able to change what's happening, but you can choose how you walk through it, with trust instead of fear, with faith instead of panic, with worship instead of worry. Oh, breathe deeply right now. Feel His peace filling the spaces fear used to occupy. Let His calmness cover your thoughts, your heart, your day. Carry this truth with you today. Peace is not found when things are perfect, but when your heart rests in Him. There comes a moment when prayer becomes a promise, when your heart stands tall again, not because the battle is over, but because you finally remember who walks with you. Joshua crossed into the land God promised not because he was fearless, but because he was faithful. And today you stand at the same threshold. A new day, a new battle, a new chance to trust again. So rise in His strength. Let courage fill your spirit like morning light. You are not walking alone. The Lord your God goes before you, behind you, and within you. Every step you take today carries the weight of His promise. Whisper this one last time. Lord, I am strong, not because I am enough, but because you are with me. Let that truth echo in your soul. Let His courage be your armor and His peace your path. Wherever you go today, go with boldness, go with faith, go with grace. Carry this truth with you today. Strength is not in what you hold, but in who holds you.